Friends, we have got a fun video today testing 8 different commercially available slugs against a fortified concrete barrier. Cinder block, in other words. Let's see how these 12-gauge monsters measure up.
So today we're going to be shooting some common commercial rounds and some not so common commercial rounds into some cement building blocks, aka cinder blocks. We're going to call them cinder blocks. They're cinder blocks.
Yeah, when you say cinder block, everybody knows what you're talking about. Concrete blocks could be anything, really.
Yeah.
So anyway, what would he do those?
So we did fill them with some sand, so we might have to switch to some mud if we run out of sand. But
we got plenty of sand.
But either way, we're filling them both cavities full. We're packing them down a little bit, just to give these cinder blocks a fighting chance.
For the first test, we're going to shoot Federal Premium Law Enforcement Tactical Slugs. It's essentially a 1-ounce lead Foster slug traveling at 1,300 feet per second. But it's tactical, so you know it's magic.
Respectable. Okay, I'm ready.
The Foster slug, also called a rifled slug, is the most common type of shotgun slug available for a 12-gauge. Now, 1,300 feet per second is on the low side for a Foster slug. They are also available with speeds up to 1,600 plus feet per second. Now, as you can see, our concrete barrier packed with sand is a pretty formidable target. The slug only penetrated one side of it.
Let's see what kind of damage it did. Did it go all the way through?
It definitely did not go all the way through. It looks like it hit all the sand. The sand dispersed all the energy.
See if you can find it in there.
Well, wait a second.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, that looks like it's it. I don't know which side's forward or not, but because this one technically had a little tiny bit of a hollow point on it, so might have extended.
Well, when it hits a cement, it doesn't mean anything.
But here, let me...
Here, yeah, okay, that's a good idea.
The next slug we're going to test is the Steelhead made by D-Duplex. Traveling at 1,460 feet per second, this solid steel slug is capable of taking moose and bear all day long. Let's see how it does against our fortified concrete barrier.
Ooh, very interesting. I'm ready.
Well, we have a little more velocity this time and a much harder projectile. The Steelhead had no problem penetrating both sides of the block despite being kind of a big, blunt, flat-nosed wad cutter. The Steelhead is designed for both smoothbore and rifled barrels, and it did perform quite well out of our rifled barrel today.
Okay, that one, I think we both agree it did better than we thought it would do.
By a long shot.
Yeah. And so it blew through the block.
Blew through the blocks, I mean, just a breath away from where I was aiming, but that seems to be the red dot's fault on.
Right, I think we need to give it a couple clicks to the left.
Yeah, but besides that, broadhead did pretty good here if you want to.
Yeah, we found that behind the target. That's what it looks like.
It punched straight through it. Actually, as you can see, it had more energy behind it than in front of it, which is what a good slug should do.
Right. Yeah, it blew out the back of the block.
Yeah, I mean,
the cinder block. Yeah, it did pretty well. Okay, let's try another one.
I'm impressed. Yeah.
The next round is really interesting, and it's another round that a viewer named Michael supplied to us. And this is a door breaching round for military and police use, I suppose. Now, unfortunately, I don't have too many specs on this, but it is loaded into this old-style active no-brass shell. I believe the projectile is made out of a copper matrix, and it's designed to disintegrate on impact of doors, hinges, locks, and stuff like that.
Got a breaching round now. Door breacher. Even that's not a door. Okay, I'm ready.
It identifies as a door.
Right.
Ready?
Yep. Not bad. That did pretty good.
That's a door.
Right.
Ready?
Yep. Not bad.
The door breaching round seemed to work pretty well. This thing could be 20 or 30 years old as far as I know. And it did pretty well through full rifling. I wasn't sure what to expect with that. But we have a lot more disruption of the sand, more breakage of the concrete. So far, this one is more powerful than the first two.
The cinder block definitely identified as a door because it's gone.
And it blew out the back. I don't think there's anything to recover on that one because it's kind of a frangible round.
I don't know if this is from this slug or the last one.
I believe it is, yeah.
But besides that, I mean, that's torn apart. Hard to tell from here.
That's just a gas seal or wad or something there.
Next up is the Remington Acutip, probably the gold standard in 12 gauge hunting rounds. These use a 385 grain bullet, essentially, in a sabot. The advertised velocity is 1,850 feet per second, though that's usually exaggerated. Just be honest with us, ammo companies. Now, a buddy I know took a mule deer with one of these, just dropped it right where it was standing at 270 yards. The Acutips are very expensive and often very difficult to find. It's a beautiful shell.
We've got to do a video on these eventually. The guy that donated them are probably like wondering what happened to him. Well, here's one of them. We didn't forget about you. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, frick.
Well, was it pretty rough? Pretty stout?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's nothing yet. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, frick.
The Remington Acutip definitely did not disappoint. Just a beautiful flying round. Even the sabot was accurate. Now, these types of sabot rounds are only for fully rifled barrels. If you try shooting it out of a smoothbore or even a rifled choke, that big bullet will just fly sideways and you'll be wasting your money. Now, in this test, we saw more damage to the block and an even bigger disruption of the sand.
Little kick, huh?
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, like I said, you got some stuff worse than that coming up, so we're just warming you up.
I forgot to tell you, my gerbil's giving birth today. I got something I got to do later.
Okay, so that one was pretty good.
Yeah, it demolished the back of this. I mean, there's a little debris zone right there, and this one I think barely left any because it just demolished the back of it. And here's the slugs for you. Here's the slug and sabot.
Oh, okay.
Here you go.
Sabot?
You sabot.
Sabot. Wow. So it's a jacketed lead projectile.
Oh, and here's a little gas seal too.
Yeah, the sabot, it looked like the sabot went through the same hole pretty much. That's cool.
Next up is the brass pellet by the Ballistic Machinist. This is a beautifully machined solid brass Diablo-shaped pellet. Now, these do function really well out of a smoothbore shotgun. Now, these have an advertised velocity of 1,670 feet per second, but when you're dealing with the Ballistic Machinist, it usually gives you a little more value for your money. These are probably traveling closer to 1,700. And once again, we'll be testing these out of a fully rifled shotgun.
Okay, I'm ready. Oh, a little different type of damage. What'd you think of the kick on that?
Nothing.
You all right?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Different type of damage.
The brass pellet is definitely designed for maximum penetration. Now, we didn't see a lot of damage to the block and not much of a disruption of the sand. But the slug efficiently drove itself through the outside of the block, through the sand, and out the back of the block.
Shoot the brass pellet. It's a monster round for being so simple.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's gonna be a long day there, Zach.
Yeah, there's only a few more.
Yeah, it just gets worse from here. So that did pretty good. A little different type of damage, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It fractured the bottom of it too, which we were just talking about. We haven't had anything crossing to the other side, but this one,
okay,
the other side a little bit, demolished it. We actually been putting this little Kevlar vest, as you guys have seen, and it flung this thing. Well, I didn't touch it.
Yeah, that's kind of like something to judge the power of what's coming through, how far it's throwing that vest. So
yeah, and it just flung it. What, probably
5 feet or so?
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if I can find that thing.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
I found the brass pellet. That's amazing how, I think it's tougher than steel. A lot of people don't believe that, but you, like you said, you can almost reload that thing. You probably could. It's just a little bit tweaked. Amazing though. Beautiful. I'm gonna save that for the collection.
Next up, we have the heavy hitter. We tested these several years ago, and they were really interesting slugs. Now, these weigh in at around 1.6 ounces and are loaded to a velocity of around 1,500 feet per second. Now, these are solid lead with the exception of a copper rifling band. Now, these have fins on it, and they kind of look like a Buck Rogers spaceship to me. Let's see how they work.
Okay, next up, the heavy hitter. This one's gonna kick, Zach.
Can't be much more than the last
It just gets worse from here. It seemed to be accurate.
All right, here comes the heavy hitter. Very accurate slug, and I gotta admit, Zach's doing a great job keeping these things on target today. Now, in this shot, we saw a lot of damage not only to the side and back of the block, but also to the face of the block, and a pretty respectable disruption of the sand, too.
Get heavier and heavier, and the recoil gets worse and worse.
Just a little bit. Well, my theory, I told Jeff before this one, was that the lead ones weren't going to be doing quite as well because lead's going to, smash against the cinder block and lose a lot of its energy, but I'm clearly proven wrong on that idea.
That's a lot of mass.
Here you go for that one.
Yeah, he recovered it. That is the back side of it. You can kind of see the fins really open up nicely, though. That's the front, of course, all matching the concrete, but it did a good number on that thing.
I don't know if the high speeds are showing it, but I think I can tell a difference in how much damage there is.
I think we'll be able to see the difference, how high the sand blows up, how far the vest gets thrown back. Just a lot of little things to look at, I think.
Yeah, our first ones were barely shattering it, but these ones, I mean, it's just destroying them.
Yep, it just gets worse from here, Zach, but there's only a couple left.
Okay, I can't wait.
Next up for our German friends, we got the Brennecke Magnum Crush. This is a monstrous 1.5 ounce slug with a muzzle velocity of 1,604 feet per second. And they claim to have exceptional accuracy up to 100 guards, whatever that is. Well, this is definitely the most evil slug, weighing in at 666 grains. Okay, I'll shut up now. Let's go see how it does.
Okay, next is the Brennecke Magnum Crush. It's gonna kick, Zach, be careful. Okay, I'm ready. Whoa! Oh, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho.
Now, at first glance, the Magnum Crush seemed to perform pretty well, but when we slow it down and look at it a little closer, we could see that the plastic gas seal, which is supposed to stay attached to the slug, has actually broken off. And we've seen this happen time and time again. Sometimes it stays on, sometimes it breaks off. And that will ultimately really destroy the accuracy at longer ranges. But a heavy slug traveling at 1,600 feet per second-ish, that does a lot of damage.
Okay, your shoulder doing okay?
We'll see tomorrow. We've reached numbness, so now it's tomorrow's problem. It's not today's problem anymore.
I like that. That was best damage yet, I think.
That was crazy. I found the slug for you.
Okay.
I seem to be doing a good job of finding these today for you.
You do, yeah. Sometimes they just look like a dirt clod.
Mm-hmm. Normally, you can see the entry, exit on these cinder blocks to a certain degree, but there's really nothing left of this one.
Yeah, we still got half of one left, so. Okay, and it really threw that vest far, about 6 feet of throwage, 7 feet maybe. Wow. Okay, one left.
Do I have to?
I was hoping you'd bring a friend so he could shoot it for you.
Oh, we'll see.
Okay.
Last, and certainly not least, is the Seismic Slug. This pushes the boundaries on ridiculousness as far as weight goes. The slug is advertised as being 2.5 ounces, but when I weighed this slug, it weighed 2.6 ounces. Now, this is a subsonic slug with a velocity of 1,050 feet per second. Now, we have tested these before, but not through a rifle barrel. This will be interesting.
Hopefully it's accurate. Gotta have at least one screw up. Okay, put that sucker in your shoulder firmly. And now for the Seismic 2.6 ounce slug. Okay, are you ready?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like pulling a tooth. Okay, I'm ready. Ooh.
That actually wasn't that bad.
Okay, good.
The last one was way worse.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
The Seismic Slug definitely loved the rifling. Look how stable that thing was flying, and probably one of the most accurate shots of the day. But there is no doubt that the Seismic Slug definitely wins as the most destructive slug in our block busting test today. And then once again, I want to commend Zach for keeping the shots on target and suffering through all that recoil.
I think we have a winner. The slowest slug, but the heaviest.
Yeah.
The softest, soft lead, but lots of it, you know?
Yeah, well, the real loser today is me, so.
Your shoulder.
And I can't wait to do it again. But it desecrated the back of it. I mean, there's nothing
It
left.
broke the backside of the part we weren't even shooting
Yeah.
at.
Here's your mushroom.
Oh, okay. And then of course it threw the vest further than any other, about 9 feet back. Is that in focus, folks? Focus, focus. And there we go. It's kind of looks like a mushroom cloud. Godzilla.
Well, I talked Zach into doing one more shot for today, and this time we're taking what's left of the blocks that weren't broken, lined up 4 of them, and we're going to shoot it with the seismic and see what kind of damage that does. There's no sand at all in these.
Okay, whenever you're ready. Oh!
Yeah,
That did a lot better than I thought. Whenever you're ready.
Now, I have to admit, I don't know what the recommended use of the Seismic Slug is. But if you need to bust up cinder blocks into little pieces, it does a pretty good job at that. But that is what 2.6 ounces, 73.5 grams, or 1,135 grains of lead does to a cinder block. And a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters and also our channel members for helping to support this channel. Thank you so much.
Well, there you go. It completely destroyed the first 2 blocks. Left the second or the third and fourth untouched for the most part, but the damage it did to those blocks was just intense.
Yeah.
And so you did find the slug, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It just looks like a piece of the cement, but that's the slug.
Then there's little pieces of fragments of it here and there.
Yeah, I'm trying to weigh it. It's only about 1.3 ounces. Yeah, that's it. Well, thank you for sacrificing your shoulder.
Oh, that's fine.
I thought it was an interesting test. We never shot cinder blocks before, or concrete blocks if you prefer. But
definitely something maybe to add in the lineup of, you know, some of your other slugs coming up here soon.
it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Another interesting target. Well, thank you for coming out, man.
Completely rub on those two. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
The slow-mo really, it broke into like 2-inch pieces or so, or smaller. Very impressive. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out United Ammo. Stop in and say hi to Zach and Mike and who else?
Bring me an ice pack.
Oh, bring an ice pack.
I'll give you 5% off. Give me an ice pack.